Hello students, good morning to all of you. Today we will study about the root system. The root is typically a non-green underground descending portion of the plant axis, which gives rise to similar types of endogenous lateral branches and does not possess nodes and internodes. Before going to detailed study of the root system, we first to understand or knows the general characters of the root. The root is the descending portion of the plant axis which grows downward in the soil. It is non-green and cannot perform photosynthesis. However, some roots can store organic food materials. The root apex is sub-terminal in positions or subapical in position and generally remains protected by the root cap. The roots possesses unicellular root hairs which increase the exposed surface of the roots for the absorption of the water. These are the root hairs. Roots are not divided into nodes and internodes. They do not bear leaves, buds, and reproductive organs. The lateral branches of roots are endogenous in origin, means arise from pericycle. The roots are negatively phototropic, positively geotropic, and positively hydrotropic. Next, the parts of the root or parts of the typical roots. These are the parts of the typical roots. A typical root possesses the following five parts from apex to upwards. One is the root cap, that is the root cap. This is the root cap. The root cap is a cup-like parenchymatous multicellular structure which protects the root apex. As the root is continuously growing downwards inside the soil, friction with soil particles wears out the root cap while its outer cells are being constantly replaced by new growth from its base. That is the base. The cells of root cap also secrete mucilage which help tenders which helps tenders roots to penetrate into the soil. The root cap is present in almost all the angiosperms except in few. For example, the root cap of some aquatic plants like the lamina, etc., are replaced by root pockets. The aerial stilt roots of Pandanus possesses multiple root caps. Next, that is the meristematic zone or meristematic growing region. This region is a small region about 1 millimeter in length, situated in the subapical region just behind the root cap. The meristematic cells of the region have power of division and adds new cells toward the main roots as well as toward the root cap. Third zone, that is zone of the elongation. That is the zone of the elongation. This zone is situated just behind the meristematic growing apex, where the cells lose their power of division and mainly elongate. These cells are mainly concerned with the absorption of water and minerals from the soil. The cells are vacuolated and start differentiation. Next zone, that is the zone of root hair. That is the zone of root hair. This zone is characterized by elongation of epidermal cells forming unicellular root hairs. This zone is about 1 to 6 centimeter in length. The root hairs enhance the exposed surface area of the roots for the absorption of water from the soil. This look like white cottony fibers attached to the root surface. Internally, the root hair zone shows differentiation or maturation of the cells. This is the maturation of the cells. The cells of this region differentiate to form the cells of the xylem, phloem, pericycle, endodermis, cortex, and epiblema. The growth of the root continuously adds to the root hair bearing surface of the root. As the growing zone elongates, the cells of the root hair zone become mature and cease to grow. Here some new root hairs are formed and grow out into the soil. So the growth of the root continuously adds to the root hair bearing surface. Individual root hairs die and are sloughed off in the older part of the root, which is beginning to grow in thickness. Zone of mature cells. That is zone of mature cells. The mature portion of root consists of zone of mature cells where the cells do not undergo any further change. The outermost layer consists of paidium or the thick wall cells covered by thick cuticle so that the water is not absorbed. Function of this region is to provide mechanical supports to the aerial part of the plant. Lateral roots arise endogenously from the anterior of this zone. Next, that is the function of the root. Root performs two kinds of functions: primary or the main functions that is performed by all the roots, and secondary or accessory functions performed by a few specialized modified roots. Primary functions: one is the anchorage. The roots anchor or fix the plant body to the substratum or the soil and provide mechanical support to the aerial part of the plant. Next, absorption. Roots perform very important function of absorption of water and minerals from the soil in almost all the terrestrial plants. Since this function are not critical in submerged aquatics, the roots are poorly developed or totally absent in them. For example, Utricularia, Ceratophyllum, etc. Next, conduction of water and minerals. Upward movement of absorbed water and minerals is done by roots. Root pressure also play an important role in this process. Next, translocation of organic nutrients. You know, roots are non-green. They does not perform the function of photosynthesis. So the sugar produced in the leaves by photosynthesis is transported downward to the tissues of the roots where it is metabolized. Next, secondary functions or the accessory functions. One is the food storage. It occurs mainly by fleshy roots, example carrot, radish, sweet potato, beet, turnip, etc. Next, additional mechanical support. In some plants, roots are modified to provide additional mechanical support. For example, prop roots in case of banyan, rhizophora, stilt roots in case of maize, sugarcane, buttress roots in case of bombex, etc. Next, hostorial roots. Roots of some parasitic plants act as hostoria, example cuscuta. They penetrate up to phloem of host and absorb the nourishment. Next, assimilation. Roots of some plants are photosynthetic, example Trapha, Tinospora. Next, aeration. Roots of some plants help in exchange of gases, example Rhizophora, Sonratia, etc. Next, symbiotic nitrogen fixation. Roots of leguminous plants have nodules containing nitrogen fixing bacteria. Next, floating and balancing. Roots of some aquatic plants store air and help in floating and balancing. Example, Pistia, Isornia, etc. Next, hygroscopic roots. Aerial roots absorb moisture from the air. Example, epiphytic plants, orchids, young prop roots of banyan, etc. Reproduction. Some modified roots possesses advantageous buds which grow to produce new plants and help in vegetative propagation. Example, Dalbergia sissu, sweet potato, etc. Climbing. Some weak-stemmed plants develop climbing roots which help the plants to climb up the sport. Example, money plant, ticoma, beetle, etc. Next, go to the apical meristem of root. In vascular plants like angiosperm, gymnosperms, and pteridophytes, the growth takes place by the activity of a group of cells that originate from embryonic shoot and embryonic root. These initials present at the tips of root and shoot are called apical meristem. A group of initials present at the subterminal region of the growing root tip which is protected by root cap, that is, this is the root cap, is called root apical meristem or root apex. It is embryonic origin and responsible for the formation of all the tissues of primary root. Next, shape and size. Due to its utmost simplicity, the root apexes of all the plants are almost similar in shape. Root apex is inverted cup-like structure protected by a pancrematous root cap. The size varies from plant to plant, but it is small as compared to the shoot apex. What is the characteristics of the root apex? The root apex is short as compared to shoot apex. It is subterminal in position due to the presence of terminal protective root cap. Cell division in the meristem adds new cells both to the body of the root and to the root cap. There is complete absence of lateral appendages like leaves and branches at the site of root apex. The lateral branches arise further back, have endogenous origin. There is no distinction of nodes and internodes in the root. So the apex shows more uniform growth in length. The cells of root apical meristem are densely cytoplasmic with large nuclei. They are in a continuous state of division. Next, we will study about the various theories regarding the organization of root apical meristem. One is the apical cell theory. The students, we have studied apical cell theory in case of the stem, similar in the root. The apical cell theory was proposed by Nagelli in 1858. In this theory, or according to this theory, the root is formed by the activity of a single apical cell. It has been observed that vascular cryptogems have a single tetrahedral apical cell. The upper three sides divide to form body of root, whereas the root cap is formed by the basal segment. This theory, though applicable in vascular cryptogems, fails to get much support in case of higher plants like the angiosperm and gymnosperm. Next, that is the histogen theory. This theory was proposed by Hanstein in 1870. According to this theory, the root apical meristem consists of variable number of meristematic layers or zones, and each layer was called a histogen. In many gymnosperms, there are two sets of initials, the outer peribelum and the inner plerome. This is the plerome or this is the peribelum. The peribelum gives rise to cap and all the tissues outside the vascular cylinder, whereas the plerome gives rise to vascular cylinder. In angiosperms, there are usually three or sometimes four groups of initials. In dicotyledons, the distal group of initials forms cap and dermatogens. The median group forms the peribelum and the innermost group forms the plerome. In monocotyledons, the outermost group gives rise to cap. The median groups forms the dermatogen and plerome and peribelum, and the innermost form the plerome. These set of initials and their final fate can be summarized in here. In dicotyledons, upper group termed the plerome that gives the central vascular cylinder and pith. Middle group termed the peribelum produce the cortex. Lower group termed the dermatogen that forms the epidermis, and cap initials form the root cap. In monocotyledons, upper group termed the plerome formed the central vascular cylinder and pith. Middle group, termed the peribellum, form the cortex and dermatogens that produce the epidermis. Lower group, termed the cleptogen, that produce the root cap. Haberland in 1914 proposed the terms protoderm for dermatogen, ground meristem for peribellum, and procambium for plerome. Generally, the root apexes of angiosperms can be divided into following four types depending upon the number of set of initials present. Single row of initial. In this, all the four parts, that is root cap, dermatogen, peribellum, plerome, arise from single row of initials. Example, plants belonging to Ranunculaceae, some Leguminosae, Amentiferae, Allium stivum, two rows of initials. The outer layer gives rise to root cap, epidermis, and cortex. The inner layer forms the central cylinder, example Casuarina. Three rows of initials. The outer layer forms root cap and epidermis. Middle layer forms cortex and inner layer forms the central cylinder. Example in majority of dicotyledons and in some monocots. Four rows of initials. The plerome forms central cylinder, peribellum forms cortex, dermatogen forms epidermis, and a fourth layer cleptogen forms the root cap. Example G-mage and majority of monocots. Next, quiescent center. The quiescent center, it is a central cup-like or hemispherical region of inactive cells present in between the root cap, that is the root cap, present in between the root cap and the active meristematic region of root apex. It was first observed by Clouse in 1956 and 58 in root tips of G-mage. Since then, the presence of quiescent center has been reported in many other plants, example Vicia feber, etc. This zone contains several hundred cells which are characterized by having lower concentration of DNA, RNA, and protein. These cells also contain fewer number of mitochondria, less endoplasmic reticulum, and small dictyosomes. The quiescent center acts as reservoir of cells and become active whenever the previously active initials get damaged or during the establishment of the secondary roots. However, normally the cells of quiescent center do not divide and remain inactive. Primary structure of root. The various cells and tissues of primary root arise from root apical meristem, which is situated at subterminal in positions and usually protected by the root cap. The root generally shows much single internal structure as compared to stem due to lack of differentiation into nodes and internodes, buds, leaves, and other lateral appendages. The primary body of root shows the following anatomical features. One is the from outside, that is the epidermis. Epidermis of root is single layered, but in few cases it may be multi-layered. Example, velamen of some aerial roots of orchids. It is made up of closely packed, thin-walled living parenchyma cells. These cells are elongated in longitudinal plane and appear rectangular, isodiametric, or oval in transverse section. The cells of young root are devoid of cuticle, but those of mature roots are covered by a thin layer of cuticle. Stomata are absent. The epidermis of root hair zone possesses two types of cells, the smaller and the larger cells. The smaller cells are or trichoblasts elongate to form thin-walled unicellular root hair. The root hairs are generally short-lived and soon perish or deteriorate. The outer epidermal layer of most of the roots get injured and sloughed off due to growth of roots through the soil. Its place is taken by outer layer of cortex. It is also known as epibelema, piliferous layer, or rhizodermis. The main function of epidermis is to provide protective covering and to help in absorption of water and minerals. Cortex. Next, that is the cortex. The cortex of roots originate from the peribellum or the ground meristem of apical meristem. It is composed of thin-walled parenchymatous cells with prominent air species. In water plants, the intercellular species are large and formed by breaking of cells. These species are called air species or lacunae. Sometimes the cells of cortex are arranged in definite patterns such as in concentric layers or in radial rows. The cells are usually oval or rounded in shape. The cortical cells do not possess chloroplast except in aerial roots of Tinospora, but store starch grains. The collenchyma is absent, but in some halophytes the cortex possesses scleroids or stone cells. Some roots possess fibers and latex cells in their cortex. Endodermis. Endodermis is the innermost layer of the cortex. It is single layered made up of compactly arranged barrel shaped cells. The cells are characterized by the presence of band shaped Gasparian strips on their radial and transverse wall. These strips are thickenings of spleen. In most of the monocots and a few dicots, the cells of endodermis develop secondary wall thickenings over the whole of inner tangential and radial walls. Some cells, usually opposite to protoxylem, remain thin-walled and called passage cells. All the cells of endodermis are living. The main function of endodermis is to provide airtight mechanical protective layer which helps to maintain root pressure. It also prevents leakage of nutrients from vascular tissues and regulates the movement of water and mineral salts. Inner to the endodermis is the pericycle. Pericycle forms the outer boundary of vascular cylinder. It is usually single layered, made up of thin walled living cells of parenchyma. In some cases, it may be multi layered, example, Salix, Smilex. In most of the roots, it occurs in the form of a complete ring but in some grasses it may be interrupted here and there. The main function of pericycles, one is formation of lateral roots by acting as site for their origin. Next, to develop part of vascular cambium. Next, to develop core cambium in case of dicot roots which shows secondary growth. Next, that is the vascular cylinder or vascular tissue. Vascular system of roots consist of alternating xylem and phloem strands. This is the xylem strands. These are the xylem strands and these are the phloem strands, which form the typical radial arrangement of vascular system. The xylem and phloem strands are separated by parenchymatous conjunctive tissue. The xylem is exarch, that is, protoxylem faces towards outer side or periphery. In case of dicot roots, the number of xylem strands are less than 8, whereas in monocot roots they are more than 8, usually 8 to 20. The protoxylem usually consists of single vessel with annular or spiral thickenings. The metaxylem consists of large vessels with pit thickenings. The phloem strands are also exarch and show protoploem towards periphery and metaploem towards inner side. Pith, the central part of root, is occupied by pith. It is very small or absent in dicots, whereas prominent and large in monocot roots. It is made up of thin-walled, living parenchymatous tissue with intercellular species. Typical dicot root of Cicer eritinum, that is the gram. Here you see the structure of the TS of dicot stem, that is gram, Cicer eritinum. A transverse section of young gram root shows the following primary structure. In this, the epidermis is uniseriate, consisting of thin-walled living parenchymatous cells. A few cells elongate to form the root hair. Cortex is simple, multilayered, and consists of thin-walled living parenchymatous cells with numerous intercellular species. Inner to the cortex, that is the endodermis, it is single-layered. The cells are barrel-shaped, compactly arranged, and possesses Casparian thickenings in their radial and tangential walls. Pericycle is single-layered, consisting of thin-walled cells. Vascular bundles are radial. The xylem and phloem strands are arranged on alternate radii, intervened by parenchymatous conjunctive tissue. The xylem is exarch. Protoxylem faces towards periphery. Number of xylem strands is 4, mean tetrarch. Pith is very small and parenchymatous. Typical monocot root of G maize or maize. A transverse section of G maize shows the following anatomical features. Outline of TS is circular. Epibelema is single layered, consists of thin walled cells. A few tubular root hairs arise as unicellular elongation of epibelema cells. Cortex is massive, consists of thin walled parenchymatous cells with intercellular species. In old root, a few outer layers of cortex become thick walled due to deposition of suberin. The zone is called the ectodermis. and acts as protective layer where the epithelium is disorganized. Endodermis is single layer, consists of barrel-shaped, thick-walled cells with Caspian strips. The cells of endodermis opposite to protoxylem are thin-walled and called passage cells. Pericycle is single layer consisting of thin-walled cells. A few cells may become scanchyma, scanchymatous. Vascular bundles. Vascular bundles are radial, polyarch, and exarch. Large number more than 6 of xylem and phloem groups alternate with each other. Metaxylem consists of large tracheids which show reticulate pitings. Protoxylem faces towards periphery. It has smaller tracheids which show annular or spiral thickenings. The parenchymatous cells associated with xylem become thick-walled and lignified. Pith is large, made up of parenchymatous cells. With intercellular species, these cells contain starch grains. Next, aerial roots or of orchid or orchid, that is the monocot. Outline of transverse section is circular. Velamen is the outermost limiting layer regarded as multiciliate epidermis. It consists of compactly arranged, elongated, non-living cells which show secondary wall thickenings. Some specialized cells of some specialized group of cells with dense spiral thickenings may also present in the velamen. These are called nematodes, which help in gaseous exchange. The primary function of velamen is to absorb moisture from the air, but they also provide mechanical protection and reduce the loss of water from the cortex. Next to the velamen is exodermis, that is, this is the exodermis, which is outermost layer of cortex. It consists of thick-walled cells deposited with suberin. A few cells are thin-walled passage cells, which act as passage for water conduction. The cortex is massive, consists of thin-walled parenchymatous cells. These cells enclose several air chambers. A few cells of cortex possesses chloroplasts. Endodermis. Endodermis is the innermost layer of cortex. The cells have thickened radial and inner walls. A few unthickened passage cells are present opposite to the protoxylem points. Inner to the endodermis is pericycle. Pericycle is single layer, consists of thin-walled cells. Inner to the pericycle, that is the vascular tissue, consists of radial vascular bundles. That means the xylem and phloem bundles alternate with each other. The number of vascular bundles is more than 6 polyas. The xylem is exarch, means protoxylem faces towards periphery and metaxylem towards center. The parenchymatous cells around and in between the xylem and phloem bundles constitute a thick-walled conjunctive tissue. Pith. Pith occupies the central position. It consists of parenchymatous cells with intercellular species. Next, development of lateral branches. The, these are the figures which shows the development of lateral branches. The lateral branches of root are endogenous in origin, means they originate in the pericycle in seed plants. The portion of pericycle which gives rise to primordia of lateral root varies depending upon the position of vascular strands in the parent root. In Dayar's root, it originates from the portion of pericycle between phloem and xylem strands. In tri and tetrarch, in tri, tetra, or and pentarch, it originates opposite the protoxylem. In polyarch condition, it originates opposite the protophloem. During the initiation of lateral root, the cells of particular portion of pericycle starts dividing by periclinal divisions. All these cells become meristematic and divide by periclinal and anticlinal divisions. It results in the formation of a lateral root primordium. The primordium grows through the cortex by crushing and pushing the cortical cells aside. The root cap and promeristem develop at the apex of primordium. It continues to grow in length and finally comes out piercing through epidermis. The cells behind the promeristem differentiate into cortex and vascular tissues. The vascular tissues of lateral root finally get concerned, finally get connected with the vascular tissues of main root. The cells of epidermis outside the root primordium are either crushed and pushed aside or divide by successive anticlinal divisions. Thus, the lateral root originates in the pericycle, transfers through the cortex, and then comes out through the epidermis. It is therefore regarded endogenous in origin. Students, tomorrow we will study about the secondary growth in roots. Thank you.